So for our children's sermon today, live and online, I want to talk to you guys about the fact that the way I do children's sermons for the last year or so is kind of weird, isn't it? I stand here all alone, all by myself. It's different than the way we did it a couple years ago when all you guys came up and crowded around me. And the reason we do that is to make sure that everybody is safe and nobody is catching sickness from each other. Just to be on the safe side, that's what we do. And that's what we have to do right now for a little while. But still, it feels kind of weird to feel alone. And maybe you guys have felt alone too. Because over the last year or so, maybe you guys couldn't get together and play with your friends. Maybe you weren't able to go to school last year and see your friends and be in class together. Maybe you haven't been able all the time to trips and see grandparents and aunts and uncles and people like that. And it feels kind of bad to be alone. In today's first reading, that's the problem that starts out. God has made this person, but he's alone. And God says, being alone, not a good thing. People need to be together. And so God creates all kinds of things. God creates other people to be together. God creates animals. And you know, the thing is, even back then, the people weren't really alone. They had God with them. But God wanted them to know that they weren't alone, and so God created things like animals and other people. And part of the reason that we read this story is to remember that God wants us to know that we are not alone, even when we're kind of feeling alone. That God is always with us, and God shows the companionship that God wants us to have by putting other people around us, even if it's just a few people, our parents, our brothers and sisters, maybe a couple of friends that we're near, our pets who are with us. That's part of the way God shows us that God is with us. And we know that God is always around us anyway. But one of the things that we can do for each other is to make sure that if somebody is feeling alone, that we remind them that we're there and we're willing to be there with them and maybe play a game with them or call them on the phone or somehow or other be there for that person. Because that's a way we help other people to know that we're never alone and that God doesn't want us to be alone. And we can help be partners with God in making sure that people know that. Thank you guys very much for listening.